Okay, today I'm going to talk about recursive and explicit formulas in math. So let's start by talking about the explicit. Explicit formula allows us to find the nth term. So it helps us find the nth term. So if I want to find the 100th term, the 200th term, this will be one equation that will give me that answer. And the basic format of the equation is you're first gonna write out your first term. So A1 is your first term. You're then going to multiply that by your multiplier, what I call your multiplier. And you're going to raise that to the n minus 1. So recursive, think about cursive, okay? What is cursive? Cursive connects each letter together. So a recursive formula uses the previous term to get to the next term. So the recursive formula uses the previous term. So it has two parts. You first state your first term. Again, A1 is your first term. And then how do we get to our next term? Our next term is you're going to take your multiplier. What am I multiplying by? Times 3 times 4 times 5. And you're going to multiply that times the previous term. So A sub n minus 1 is previous. Okay, so two different formulas, depending on what you're looking for. One is easier than the other. So let's look at an example. So what if I have a list of numbers, 7, 21, 63, 189. Well, I first need to ask myself, well, how am I getting from one number to the next? From 7 to 21, 21 to 63, 63 to 189. Well, here I'm multiplying by 3. So if I were to write it out, well, my first term is 7. Well, how am I getting 7? I'm multiplying 7 times 3, 0 times. Well, how do I get to my second term? I'm multiplying by 7 times 3, 1 time to get to 21. To get to my third term of 63, I'm taking 7 and I'm multiplying by 3, 1, 2 times. And my fourth term, 189, I'm multiplying by 7 times 3, 3 times. So explicit formula, again, if I want to find the 100th term, if I list out 100 numbers, it might take me a while. So I want just one formula that I can plug in 100 and find the answer. So if I look at my basic form, I'm going to start by writing my first term. Well, what's my first term? My first term is 7. And what is my multiplier? Well, I'm multiplying by 3, right? And it's raised to the n minus 1. Because notice the exponent here. To get to my first term, my exponent is 0. To get to my second term, the exponent is 1. To get to the third term, the exponent is 2. So it's always 1 less. So that is the explicit formula. Recursive is going to use the previous term. Okay, so we're first going to state the first term. What is my first term? Is 7. And then how do I get to the next term? My next term, each time I'm multiplying by 3 times the previous, a to the n minus 1. Okay. Let's try one more. What if we have 9, 36, 144, 576? So first we ask ourselves, how are we getting from one number to the next? Here we are multiplying by 4. So if I think about listing out the list of numbers, my first term is 9, which means I am taking 4 and multiplying that by 9, 0 times. To get to my second term of 36, I'm taking 9 and multiplying by 4 just once. To get to my third term, I am taking 9 and multiplying it by 4 twice, and so forth. So if I want the explicit term, if I want to be able to find the 100th term, again, basic format is I need to write my first term. Well, what's my first term? My first term is 9. Multiply it by your multiplier. What is my multiplier? My multiplier is 4. Again, raised to the n minus 1. And if I want recursive, I first state my first term is 9, and then how do I get to my next term? I am multiplying the previous term times 4. Okay, so that is explicit and recursive formulas.